Let's see. There we go. That's the capture method that doesn't have the annoying yellow border. Thanks, Windows 10. Thanks, Microsoft, for not backporting features. Okay. I haven't done Umineko for a few days because, surprise, surprise, I've been hooked on Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. So, I'm gonna get back to this and play some Cataclysm after. Because there's no stopping me. So let's see. Alright, I remember where we were. We'd had the first Twilight happen, and then the second Twilight, but we haven't found Cannon's body yet. With Jessica's death, it became certain that the culprit was hiding somewhere nearby, and that they'd come for our lives if they had a chance. According to Genji-san, when tomorrow morning comes, the boat should arrive. The boat had a radio. We'd probably be able to contact the police directly with that. All of us gathered in the parlor and decided to wait quietly until tomorrow. I proposed that we should search throughout the mansion for clues about the culprit, but Aunt Rosa rejected that, saying if we managed to corner the culprit, or maybe provoke them, it might lead to a third murder. That was probably the right thing to do. If a bunch of amateurs like us investigated, there's no way we'd find anything. It would be wisest to focus on protecting ourselves without doing anything unnecessary, and leave it to the police starting tomorrow. So yeah. Reminder, these are the people that are dead. Again, his body's not found, but we know he's dead. And we've kind of introduced the red text too. The whole anything Beatrice says in red is fact. And this time Rosa has a gun, not Nazi. We'd been tense at the beginning, but other than Aunt Rosa, most of us had spent all morning watching TV and getting bored, so our sense of danger had faded considerably. When we thought about it, yes, 6 adults certainly had been killed together in the first murder, but that made it seem like some backhanded method like poison had been used. And for the second murder, we figured those two became sacrifices because they'd been unfortunately isolated from the rest of us. From this, it was possible to imagine that the culprit was in a large number of adults, and that they wouldn't be capable of killing this large group gathered in the parlor all at once. Right now, in this parlor, there's George, Aniki, and me. Maria, Aunt Rosa, Genji-san, Goda-san, Shannon-san, Kurosawa-san, and then Dr. Nanjo for a total of 9 people. Furthermore, Aunt Rosa was even armed with a gun. Surely with this many people staying in this room, they wouldn't be able to touch us easily. That feeling of security, along with the passage of time, allowed us to recover from the shock of that morning bit by bit. By the way, lunchtime had just ended for us. However, it had been a canned food lunch, a far cry from the dinner last night that Goda-san had skillfully made for us. You're distracting me, cat. Aunt Rosa also suspected that poison may have been used in the first murder. So we probably couldn't deny the possibility that the culprit had snuck into the kitchen during all that confusion in the morning, and had mixed poison in with the ingredients there. Aunt Rosa gave orders to all of us saying that, until the police came, we mustn't put anything into our mouths except safe things like canned food. As a cook, Goda-san must have felt very let down. Apparently eager to display skill anyway, he said he at least wanted to grab some plates and arrange the canned food on them. At first, Aunt Rosa had been reluctant, examining each one of the plates that were brought, but she hadn't been able to find anything to complain about, and Goda's chef's pick canned food lunch combo was born. Goda-san said something about taste being savored not just with the tongue, but with the eyes as well. I see, it's the same canned food we eat for breakfast, but it feels like something completely different. Does it really? Canned beans on a plate. Ooh, battler. Look. This is the wolves and sheep puzzle. Ooh. I was waiting for this to come back up. As I was sitting lazily on the sofa, with no desire to watch TV, Maria came over, pulled a picture book out of her handbag, and held it out to me. What's that book? Wolves and sheep puzzle? Let's see here. Wolves and sheep puzzle. It was a phrase that Aunt Rosa had said this morning when we'd gone to call on Jessica. At the time, I hadn't noted what it meant, and right after that was that uproar when Jessica's corpse was found, so I'd forgot about it completely. The book that Maria held out to me looked like a foreign picture book or something that had been translated. When I opened it, I realized that it was a book stuffed with riddles. Ooh, so you have a few wolves and a few sheep, okay? The puzzle is how you take them to the other side using one boat. I've heard of games with rules like that. So this is a version with wolves and sheep. It was a very simple puzzle, passed on from long ago. Let's try posing a question. On the right bank, there are 2 wolves and 2 sheep. There's a boat that as many as 2 animals can ride on, and using it, you have to move all 4 of them to the opposite left bank. Hey, Yuzu, morning. Yeah, sorry that I stepped away from Umineko for a few days. I was hooked on Cataclysm. I remember the anime having like good visuals for this. I hope this has some. I don't recall. That's the puzzle. Oh, good. This is decent enough. What message didn't go through? Well, I mean, I don't see it, so I don't know. There are 2 rules. The first is regarding the boat. Even a single wolf or a single sheep can paddle it, but it can only hold 2 animals. The second rule is regarding the wolves. When they're greater in number than the sheep in any location, they attack the sheep and it's game over. For example, at the start of the game, let's say the 2 sheep get in the boat and go to the other side. Then, one sheep gets off and the other goes back to the first bank. When it does, there are 2 wolves on the first bank, and a single sheep returns there. When that happens, the number of wolves is greater, so the sheep is attacked and it's game over. On either the bank or even the boat, there must never be more wolves than sheep. You've got to shuttle them all under these conditions. By the way, the right answer is to move both wolves to the opposite bank in the first turn. Then 1 wolf comes back. On the second turn, you move 2 sheep to the opposite bank. Then 1 wolf comes back. Then at the third turn, you put that last wolf that was on the right bank on the boat and cross to the opposite bank, and congratulations, transport successful. Partway, there may be the same number of wolves and sheep in the boat or on either side, but that isn't a problem. It's just the wolves and sheep problem. You only lose when the number of wolves is greater. This book uses wolves and sheep as an example, but lots of people probably know of this game using different characters. Looked like Moria wanted to test whether I too could solve the puzzle she knew how to solve. She kept showing me different pages, saying, solve this one, and this one's hard. So what was happening when Aunt Rosa first mentioned this puzzle? There could be other names for it, like the game says. I don't really know. That's right. When we decided to go and get Jessica, we talked about how many men should go, and Aunt Rosa mentioned the wolves and sheep puzzle, saying we should all go together. Wait a sec. That could only mean one thing. Aunt Rosa was saying that there was a wolf among us. Eggex. So was she thinking that we'd be safe if the number of wolves and sheep wasn't balanced, but that the wolves would bear their fangs if the situation changed? He said it. At the time we found our parents' corpses, Aunt Rosa already suspected that the servants might be wolves. She sniffed out the possibility that, well, she didn't know whether it was all of them or some of them, there were wolves hiding among them. Among them. That's no surprise. You know, it'd be a good April Fool's joke if for April Fools Among Us changed their name to Amongst Us, just to piss people off. That murder scene was very elaborate. It's easy to imagine that there were multiple culprits, and because she'd reached that conclusion when we went to Jessica's room, and learned that Jessica had been killed after being alone with the servant, Canon, it isn't hard to imagine why Aunt Rosa suspected the servant so persistently. You servants, go to sound us going to the kitchen to clean the dishes. Just in case, would you please all go with him? My apologies, everyone. Let us go as a group. Shannon, Kubasawa, we are going. Yes, going. Oh. Well then, George-san, excuse me for now. Yes. Take care. Aunt Rosa, could I go as well? I'm sorry, but would you remain here, George-kun? There's something I want to talk to you about. Is that so? Sorry, Shannon. Anyway, take care. Don't be alone. Yes. Yes. I'm sorry, Dr. Nanjo. I wanted to consult you about something. Yes, what could that be? The servants put the dishes and empty cans on the serving cart and started to head out into the corridor. Behind them, Aunt Rosa was talking to Dr. Nanjo about something in a small voice. Understood. I will go. Yes, I'm counting on you. Hey, Zelda fan. Don't worry, I'll wait. Well, no, see, Rose is splitting them up because she suspects that the culprit is someone outside of the family. Dr. Nanjo closed the book he had been reading, rose from the sofa, and followed after the servants. Aunt Rosa stuck her head out into the hallway, and after seeing that they were completely out of sight, she closed the door and spoke. Listen up, everyone. With that, everyone here is new Ushimura. Yes, that's true. So you're saying that you've chased out all the wolves, Aunt Rosa? With that one sentence, Aunt Rosa's gaze grew sharp. Apparently, she'd picked up on the sarcasm. She laughed lightly. Your mind sure works fast, Battler-kun. I like clever kids. It means there's less to explain. Ooh, Battler's smart. Can you solve this? Page 64 is hard. Ooh. Maria, go watch TV for a bit. Mama wants to talk with Battler-kun and George-kun. Ooh. Aunt Rosa, I heard about the puzzle from Battler-kun. I don't think it's wrong to be on our guards, but I also think there's such a thing as being too suspicious. Whether the real culprit is Beatrice or not, there's reason for us to suspect that the servants are in on it. In the first murder, when Nissan and the others were killed, they were treated very brutally, right? Did that look like something that could have been done alone? Maybe the mystery guest, Beatrice Sama, worked all night and did it all. And what about the master key in the door to Jessica's room? Isn't that proof that one of the servants was involved? Only the master key could have locked the door to Jessica's room, so we can only suppose that one of the servants did it. No, wait. Spin the chessboard around. That's strange, Aunt Rosa. After killing Jessica, why would the culprit go to all the trouble of locking the door? The fact that it was locked made it inevitable that the owners of the master keys would be suspected. There was no reason for them to go to all the trouble of locking the door. That's right. It's just as Bellerkin says. There was no need for them to go to all trouble of making themselves look suspicious. Yes, that's an interesting thought. Of course, I also thought that. If that's the case, then the person who locked it wanted to cast suspicion on the servants, and locked it without a master key. But that's impossible, right? That's right. If there existed some trick that could lock that door without a master key, that would make this a great disguise for casting doubt on the servants. If the culprit's goal was for us to isolate ourselves from the group so they could attack us one by one, this trick would also be effective at giving rise to paranoia. But there was no way to lock that door without using master key. How can you be so sure there's no way to lock that door without a master key? Isn't that a devil's proof, like Rudolph Nissan was talking about earlier? Maybe it was. Can you not, like, drool on my arm like that? Come on, hon. Like a cold drip of either drool or snot land on my wrist here. Please. Maybe it was locked by some method we can't think of. Even if we can't think of a way, we can't deny the possibility of some unknown trick being used. That's true too, I guess. She doesn't have the red truth, unfortunately. So is that it? No smoke without fire again? I don't know the practical details of the trick, but I have a general idea. My apologies, but if we make the assumption that Kanekun was the culprit, it can be explained extremely easily. Even as to why there was no corpse. Huh? But Kanekun didn't have a master key, right? Inside the other servants, at least Kanekun shouldn't have been able to lock the door. I see. So that's why he told us to search in the closet and everywhere else right after we entered Jessica's room. Aunt Rosa, your mind works faster than I would have guessed from how you normally act. The brain speed of a little sister is always the big sister's -1. Right now, there's no one I need to worry about offending, which is certainly a relief. Georgiadeki realized she was referring to Aunt Eva, and seemed a little uncertain about how he should take that sarcasm. But I'm sorry, could you explain it so even I can understand? Kanenkun's master key was in Jessica Chen's pocket, closed up inside a closed room. After the door was locked, it should have been impossible to put it in your pocket from outside the room, no matter what trick he used. That's not it, Aniki. If it was done the way Aunt Rose is thinking of, this trick could only be used by Kanenkun. Plus, the door could be locked without using a key. Well, the master key was still in Umineko's pocket. Damn it, I'm reading messages. I said Umineko's pocket. I can't do Umineko crawl. Still in Jessica's pocket. And it would also result in his corpse disappearing. But how? How could you lock the door without a key? It's simple. George-kun, when you return home, you lock the door, right? You twist the knob, click, and you're done, right? Huh? Could it be? No, but Kanenkun was nowhere to be found. It looks like you've got it, Aniki. That's what Aunt Rosa was searching the room for. She was searching for Kanenkun, who locked the door from the inside and stuck the key in Jessica's pocket. Before hiding somewhere, waiting for us to walk right past him. It was the simplest kind of closed room trick. It meant him hiding inside the closed room after the murder was committed. Then, all he had to do was get out after those who discovered the body left, and the closed room murder would work perfectly. When we searched that room, we didn't find anything. But for all we know, that room might have a hidden passage that only the servants know about. We don't know where such a thing might have been hidden. But if we assume there was such a passage, we can conclude that it was impossible for everyone but him. That's a pretty big thing to conclude, though. Battler has problems with it. Well, about that line of reasoning, I thought of that too at the very beginning. It's the kind of reasoning I hate most, so I wanted to destroy it right at the start. Kenneth was killed in this room, right? You apparently suspected that Kenneth was the culprit, so you made me repeat this to destroy that possibility right off the bat. Yes, I understand. So this is what I thought next. I made a theory where there were actually 3 people in that room. Jessica and Kanenkun were victims, and the culprit, the guest Beatrice, was also there with them. You wanted to make it the human me who committed the crime without using magic. I see, a bizarre theory that suits you perfectly. I guess that you killed those 2, then locked the door from the inside. His name's Battler because his grandfather is a Westaboo. Well, technically though, I mean obviously it was like his parents who named him, but they just kind of like inherited the poor taste in names a little bit. He feels like sorry for his parents, well rather his dad, for having the name Rudolph with like the $sign kanji in his name. It's not a $sign, just he has the kanji for dollar in his name. It's an absurd name. and that you carried Kanenkun's corpse away using some secret method that normal people wouldn't notice. In other words, you used a secret door to escape. But you told me in red. You said no kind of hidden door existed in the room. Indeed, there could exist no secret passages that you all are not aware of. Was it Nox who said it, or was it Van Dyne? It seems that in mystery novels, there must never be hidden passages. I simply followed that etiquette. Someone hasn't read Shady Trial. So even without having to thoroughly search the room, a famous detective could conclude that no secret passages exist. Humans playing detective have it so easy. Damn you talking so big. Thanks. Thanks to the Mighty Witch being so diplomatic, I get to conclude that the room has no hidden doors without searching the whole thing. Indeed, there are no hidden doors in this room. There is no way to get in or out other than the door and the windows. Which means that the theory Aunt Rose is so confident in is wrong. Also, annoyingly, it's impossible to disprove her theory. If you, the witch, say there are no hidden doors in red, then it's settled. However, no matter how much a human like me tries to argue against her, Aunt Rosa probably won't accept it. Humans can't prove there's no hidden door. It's a devil's proof. Damn, it sure is convenient being a witch. He says, trying to disprove that she's a witch. No way. To call Kaneko the culprit because of a hidden door we don't even know exists. I can't accept that. If you can't accept it, then find me a different theory that's more convincing. There is none. I've been thinking this whole time. There's no other option. George-kun, you and Shannon-chan are close, right? I imagine that's why you find it so hard to accept that all the servants are culprits. Even I don't want to believe that Shannon-chan is in league with the culprit. But whether they're all in it together or not, there's definitely a culprit, or maybe an accomplice, in that group. That point alone is something you absolutely need to understand. If you guessed there were wolves besides Kanen-kun, does that mean the uproar you caused by accusing Kanen-kun in Jessica's room was to gauge the reactions of the other servants? Yes, that's right. And as a result, I began to suspect them even more. Hi Ash. Umineko. There certainly is a wolf among the servants. She almost said it again. Certainly. And just like the wolves and sheep puzzle, while they may be docile most of the time, they'll surely attack if they get a chance. Nope, I can't read. Jessica-chan was a lone sheep on the boat. In Maria's version of the puzzle, they may not attack when there's an equal number of wolves and sheep, but our puzzle is different. I'm doing good. I've been streaming a lot recently. Addicted to Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, which will be playing in a couple hours or so. Well, I wanted to make some more progress reading Umineko. It's been a little bit. Depending on the situation and the number of people, they'll attack even if there is a balance. Just like when Jessica-chan was killed. Then there's something that makes me mad. If that's true, then when you made Shannon go to the kitchen, you put her in a dangerous situation, didn't you? We should go to the kitchen right now, too. No matter who may or may not be a wolf. If staying together means we remain in balance, I think we should keep it that way. Shannon-chan went to see father along with Genji-san. At that time, she was supposedly isolated, but she wasn't killed. Was it because Genji-san wasn't a wolf either? Wrong. I don't really want to talk about the stuff we were talking about. I'm good, thank you. Sorry. Is the chat working, by the way? Oh, I need to move it to the left a little bit, sorry. 1 second. Have it positioned poorly again. I changed it a little bit earlier. Should be better now, maybe, when it comes back up. How about that? Wrong, it's because they were both wolves. I mean, to be fair, it's not like the puzzle, like, there's not necessarily always going to be a murder. Because people, you know, people have situations where if they kill, they'll be suspected. The wolves and sheep puzzle, the wolves don't care about being outed. As soon as the first murder happens, they win. Can't really break it down like that. I actually know that it's a person's elephant. There's someone I spoke to before. Shannon is not the kind of person who would take part in a crime. I can't let a comment like that slide, not even from you, Aunt Rosa. I demand that you take back what you just said. I hate saying this in front of Aniki, but the way you're arguing feels just like something Aunt Ava might say. It's like you're automatically assuming that you're right, unless we can counter your argument. Looks like you can't fight against your own blood after all, Aunt Rosa. Even I can't think of myself as very praiseworthy right now. But guess what? I'm a mother. I'd become even a demon to protect Maria's safety. I really wish I could shut myself away somewhere alone with her. But I also plan to act as a mother to you two. Right now, you're practically my children. Even if you aren't my own, I won't forsake you. No matter what. Well, thanks for that. I just wanted to warn you not to be careless as your mother. Stay where I can see you at all times. I will protect you. And at the same time, you'll be observing us to make sure we aren't wolves. Yeah, thanks a lot for that. Can you, Aunt Rosa, prove that you weren't a wolf yourself? Yes, I can. That's a quick answer. How? With this. This is my proof. Aunt Rosa lifted her gun and pointed the barrel at me. But it was only for an instant. She immediately lowered the gun, laughing impishly. But to me, the time I spent staring down the barrel of that gun felt like an eternity. How does that gun prove that you aren't the culprit, Aunt Rosa? George, are you stupid? Think about it. What if I were the culprit? Would I really give up the once-in-a-lifetime chance I got when the servants left? I could just shoot you, bang, and think of a fitting excuse later. Something like, Beatrice appeared outside the window and started shooting at us. I just need to leave 2 empty cartridges on the ground and say I fired back at her twice. Well, that's a crazily violent way to argue it, but it does make sense. There's something Kraus Nissan used to say all the time, long ago. Might is right. Maybe that really is true. I'm sorry, you two. I've so lost my composure after all the crimes since this morning. You know how I normally am, so I must seem desperate and a bit short-tempered right now. Honestly, she seems less short-tempered now than she did with her daughter a couple episodes back. But please understand, I want to protect you from a malicious culprit. I'll become a demon to do that. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry for saying something that's angered you. Butler-kun, George-kun, let's make up. An unsatisfied expression rose to George Aniki's face. He probably couldn't forgive the damage done to Shannon's honor. What about me? Several bits of circumstantial evidence hinted at the servants' participation. I didn't want to believe that one of them was the culprit, or possibly colluding with the culprit, but in our current situation, that was a little more than wishful thinking. Whom should I believe? In the first place, who is the culprit? And are there accomplices? If so, how many? It seems I've only been suspecting the people we know. I quickly forgot that 19th person, the guest Beatrice, who arrived yesterday and boldly claimed to be the Golden Witch. In fact, I still haven't seen her face. I heard she greatly resembled the witch in that portrait. Come on, you. It's okay. No one in chat is at fault there. I get both sides. Everything is good. Happy, happy, happy. But since I haven't seen her directly, no matter how hard I try, it doesn't really feel to me like a 19th person is on this island. Oh. Ellie did that, sorry. Probably saw her jump up in front of it. Thanks for pointing it out. I tend to miss that. I'm so used to her jumping up there throughout the day. I don't think of the cam. So I've been subconsciously hallucinating that the culprit's one of the 18. Damn it. Come on, Beatrice. If you're the bad guy, then act like the bad guy and show yourself, laughing in a high-pitched voice and mocking us. Just like a bad guy in one of those dramas, who even when they're exposed as the culprit, aggressively says, "Where's your proof?" Where's your proof? Shut up, no more talking. She tried. There were 5 humans in the kitchen, but it was very quiet, filled only with the sound of the rain. It was only accented by the sound of Shannon and Kurosawa washing the dishes. Goda was using the leftovers from breakfast and lunch as ingredients for soup. Rose had suspected that poison might have been added to the food, so they decided to eat canned goods, but it hadn't been too satisfying. But Goda thought she was being too cautious, so he was spontaneously creating soup to be served only to those who wanted some. Shannon and Kurosawa were washing the dishes that the food had been arranged on. On the inside, they thought maybe Goda should wash them since he'd been the one who wanted the food arranged on plates in the first place, but they left their complaints unsaid for the time being. Genji and Nanjo were facing each other across a crude chess set that had many years of experience. The game had still only just begun, and because the opening game of these experienced players had been honed to perfection, it looked like a ceremony where they just moved specific pieces in a specified order. That's a nice aroma. You wouldn't get this from canned food. It was made only from sealed ingredients, so there won't be any poison mixed in. I'm making enough for everybody, so please eat. Yeah, you'll have to excuse them, basically. But bots who just, like, try to get your personal contact info and stuff are really common on Twitch. You get them all the time. They're like, oh, do you want some art for your stream? You can commission me. Or like, hey, you want to get some followers? I'll DM you. Things like that. I'm making enough for everybody, so please eat. Of course, I will also taste our poison. Please feel secure and eat. That really is a nice aroma. Goto-san, the food you cook really is delicious. Being able to create delicious food when you buy delicious ingredients is hardly special. My master taught me that a true cook needs to perfect their ability to make delicious food from whatever is on hand. That was a good master. Thanks to him, it looks like we get to enjoy some truly delicious soup. Although it is a shame that it was made from ingredients intended for all the family members to eat. I'm sure Rosa-san is tired after everything that happened this morning. It is only natural. But thanks to that, we get to drink some soup made from delicious ingredients. Ho ho ho. Rosa had fervently warned everyone that they didn't understand the danger they were in, and that they must assume that poison was mixed in with the food. The mood at the time had led them to agree, not argue. That too, though. But hunger wasn't something that could be swayed by a momentary emotion like that. Ironically, we've ended up with a soup that we normally wouldn't be able to savor. If possible, I'd like to serve it to everyone in the parlor, but seeing that it would violate Rosa-sama's instructions, we'd best give up on that idea. It's enough that only those who want to eat it do so. Oh ho ho ho, skillfully taking a breather when no one's looking is also an important skill for a servant, isn't it? When Kurosawa cackled, Shannon and Goto laughed too. It seemed that, in this space where only their fellow servants were gathered, they could relax quite a bit. Shannon didn't like Goto's occasional dishonesty, but she knew that there was no falsehood in his childish smile when he cooked, nor in his desire for people to enjoy his food. So, even though it was a little aggravating to be made to wash the dishes, she couldn't really hate him. However, they couldn't have dreamed that Rosa was calling them wolves in the parlor at exactly the same moment they were spending their time peacefully like this. At that time, several of the servants heard a sound like something being dragged, and then a thump. It seemed like the sound made by a servant outside the back door when they were carrying a mountain of trash bags on a rainy day, or maybe when a servant was returning from work wearing a raincoat. So at first, that sound didn't seem like anything out of the ordinary to any of them, but they soon realized. Right now, everyone was either in the kitchen or in the parlor, so who could possibly be at the back door? As the servants all looked at each other, they checked to make sure that each one of them knew what that sound meant. Who could it be? The servants knew the mansion's layout well, so they understood how incomprehensible it would be for someone from the parlor to actually go outside in this typhoon, go all the way around, and come up to this back door. Then, was it Kinzo? They couldn't imagine that Kinzo, who never left his study, would dash out into the middle of this typhoon and come to the back of the house where only low-class people ever entered or exited. That wasn't our imagination, was it? Oh, ha ha ha. Shannon and Kurosawa drew close together, fearfully looking at the back door. Who is it? As Goto fearfully approached the back door, he called out, and his eyes flashed toward the butcher's knife that sat in a nearby sink. He didn't pick it up yet, because there was still a possibility that this was a member of the family. However, that possibility was impossible. There was no response from across the door to Goto's initial question. Maybe his voice had been so quiet that it hadn't reached through all the wind and rain outside. Genji-san. Yes. Stand back, Dr. Nanjo and the women. Who in the world could it be? Genji took a knife with a classical design from a stationary box placed near the chest set. It was something to be used instead of a paper knife to open envelopes for statements of delivery and bills. But it was still a knife, so the blade on it could injure someone. Genji hit it in his sleeve with a well-practiced motion. Then he approached the back door himself, giving Goto a silent nod. Goto cautiously approached the back door and slowly started to open it. Who could it be? Yeah. The shadow of a person suddenly shuffled into sight, lay down on his knees, and fell over. Goto fell backwards onto his backside and couldn't get up. That human shadow was soaked with rain, smeared with mud, and drenched with blood. Kanon-kun? Kanon-kun. Kanon, are you alright? Dr. Nanjo. It was Kanon. His breath was feeble, and the puddles of mud he left were quickly drenched bright red. When Nanjo held him and turned him face up, there was a deep, gruesome wound right in the center of his chest, as though he'd been stabbed there by a spear or something. But he bomb-based versus pattern. He's doing, you know, no miss, no bomb run, but he failed it. You know, for those people. They're just too proud. Too prideful to bomb. So interestingly enough, like, it says Kanon's dead. It was said in red, so it's strange that we're seeing Kanon here. I would explain why this is, but I will say that Beatrice is not wrong. Obviously, red truth is red truth. Red truth is absolute. It is in law. You can trust it. It's correct. So think about how this could be happening. Think about what this might mean. for the story. This is Hidoi. What shall we do? Get a first aid kit? A first aid kit? Kanen-kun, place your hand against the wound. Please, push firmly. Let's carry him to the bed in the servant room. Everyone, please, lend a hand. Come now, Kanen-san. Please, hang in there a little longer. Hang in there. It'll be okay. So don't take your hand from the wound. At any rate, let us carry him to the servant room. Kurosawa, inform Rosa-san that we found Kanen. But wait. Not Rosa-sama. Please wait. Kanen-san said, not Rosa-sama. But what do you mean, Kanen-kun? This is no time for that. Let us quickly carry him to the servant room. Kurosawa, do not tell Rosa-sama yet. We will do it after we hear the situation from Kanen. Yes. Eek. He had told them not to tell Rosa right after appearing in this state. This could only mean something very disquieting. Yet eerie anxiety rose to their faces. Come now, everyone. Let's hurry and carry him. Quickly, quickly. Watching this kind of scene is almost like a hint from Beatrice as to how you're supposed to understand Umineko as a whole. But knowing that and understanding it too early will make later parts of the story less interesting, so it's better if you don't know, honestly. Just wonder about it, basically. Kanen's wound was unbelievably deep, and judging from Nanjo's pale face, it was a miracle that he was still conscious. This is Hidoi. He appears to have been stabbed by something like a spear. If it hasn't reached the lungs, I might be able to do something. At any rate, we must stop the bleeding. No matter how much Nanjo tried to wipe off that gushing deep red blood, he couldn't do it, he couldn't wipe it all away. And each time the wound was aggravated, causing Kanen to cry in anguish. Kanen-kun, hang in there. Dr. Nanjo, here's a new towel. Hidoi. What is his condition? In all honesty, this is so severe that I cannot believe he is alive. Maybe the location of the wound was fortunate, but the blood loss is too horrible. A blood transfusion is necessary, but that will be impossible until tomorrow. Heck. Rosa-sama, to us. Ugh. Don't talk, Kanen-kun. Your wound will open. Rosa-sama came to my lady and me, and... What did you say? Rosa-sama did? Oh, could that mean... Are you certain? Yes. 確かに、Rosa-samaでした。まあ、それ以上、話さないでくれ。Come now, don't speak anymore. Kurosawa-san, please grab another first aid kit. Genji-san, is it possible Rosa-sama did such a thing? I do not know. Disregarding Nanjo and Kurosawa, who were struggling hard and stained with blood as they tried to stop the bleeding, Genji and Koda faced each other. Because if what Kanen said was the truth, Rosa was the culprit who killed Jessica. Curse you, Rosa. How could you do that to my lady? I'll kill you. I will kill you. Ugh. Kanen screamed even more hatefully. His hate-filled voice made it seem like he was seeing Jessica being harmed right before his eyes. Certainly, Rosa-sama may have had a reason to kill my lady. If everyone in the Yoshimura family were destroyed, the inheritance would all go to Rosa-sama. If so, Balor-sama and George-sama are in danger. Not only is Rosa-sama holding a gun, but right now, they're the only ones in the lounge. Genji-san, isn't this situation quite perilous? Shannon suddenly ran out into the corridor. Her expression was complex and tragic, as though she didn't know what to believe. Shannon ran. To where? The inside of the mansion had been scrupulously cleaned, so it probably wouldn't be easy to find. She might find it if she searched for the rose garden, but they'd probably all been lost in this wind and rain. That's right. The boiler room isn't cleaned very often. If she went there, she might be able to find it. Shannon ran downstairs to find that in the underground boiler room. Speaking of Umineko's ratings, there's actually a major fuck-up that happened. In the UK, they rated Higurashi as, being suitable for young children to play. Clearly, the ESRB, well, I guess over there it's Peggy, not ESRB, only played, 20 minutes of the game. Because that game is incredibly gory. So, yeah, don't buy Umineko or Higurashi for your kids. Did some medicine take effect at the brink of death, or was Kanen finally beyond feeling pain? For the time being, at least Kenan's painful gasping had subsided. Nanjo apparently didn't view this as a very good sign, and he didn't let his eyes off Kenan for a second. Misawa firmly gripped Kenan's hand and kept encouraging him, said that the willpower keeping him alive didn't fade away. Apparently the French version, yeah. Oh my god. Ugh. Here you go. Here's the back of the box for the French version. 7. 7 plus. It's 7 plus. I would show off some of the stuff in Higurashi, but it's not even suitable for this stream. When you search, if you search Higurashi Peggy reading, you will have a Twitter thread come up. That has this box. As well as an extremely graphic picture from the anime of a nude corpse with its bowels exposed being eaten by ravens. So, yeah. 7 plus, huh? And frankly, that's not even the worst thing in Higurashi. So there's always the fun knife to the side of the head scene. Okay, let's get back to other murders. Genji and Goda seemed uncertain how to respond to the truth Kenan had risked his life to deliver. So Kenan says that Rosa did it. Rosa-sama's gun surely has 4 or 5 shots loaded. That is no small number. But loading cartridges into a Winchester should require a lot of practice. She might be able to get one shot off, but if everyone attacks her at once, we should be able to take the gun from her before she shoots again. We may have a doctor in this island, but we have no access to medicine and no hospital. If the location of the shot is bad, that person will die. I understand that, but more importantly, if we don't move quickly, there's a chance another crime will occur. It seems to me that Rosa-sama managed to cleverly chase us out. Maybe George-sama and Butler-sama are being killed right now. Oh, if our foe is so dangerous, wouldn't it be better if we didn't provoke them too much? But tomorrow is still a long way off. We can't even imagine what strategy she might use. Genji-san, we should take action first. If we can at least steal a gun under some pretext, it might work out. There are 4 or 5 cartridges, are there not? That means there aren't enough to kill all of us. As long as we don't carelessly provoke her, surely even Rosa-sama wouldn't be that rash. Oh, no, she said it. She said she'll massacre all of us. Kenan, who they thought was sleeping quietly, suddenly started talking brightly. That should really say clearly, probably. Almost as though he'd been awake this whole time and had suddenly opened his mouth. The word in Japanese can mean both. Kenan looked firm and sturdy, which relieved Nanjo a bit, but considering the depth of that wound, he couldn't wipe away a certain creepy feeling. He knew because he was a doctor. After losing so much blood, Kenan might easily have lost consciousness, and yet, somehow, he was still intensely aware of his surroundings. Was it youth? Or was it his tenacity? Sometimes the power of human life surpassed common knowledge. While stopping the bleeding, Nanjo had groped around a bit inside the bleeding hole with tweezers, making sure there were no foreign objects inside the affected area, and the great depth of the wound had shocked him. It certainly reached as far as his lungs. And yet... No, but the fact that he's still alive is wonderful. But Kenan had spoken clearly. He had hatefully stated that the one named Rosa made this wound, cursing and raging over and over and over. Yeah, there's definitely something going on. He shouldn't be alive right now. Not to mention, Beatrice said and read that he was dead. She wants to kill everyone by any means necessary before the typhoon passes, so that she can have the Master's wealth all to herself. She told me that clearly. Damn, what a person. Genji-san, what should we do? What a person. Are there any weapons we can... I found it hard to believe. To think that Rosa-sama would say something like that. Genji-sama, it isn't a question of whether you believe it or not. I need you to continue. She told me. I heard it. Why won't you believe me? Don't get up. You'll harm your wound. Kenan sat up in the bed, speaking to Genji, who didn't seem to be willing to believe Kenan's story. She'll definitely kill all of us. She must have killed everyone in the parlor by now. It updates the thing. Nah, guess not. If we don't kill her first, we'll definitely be killed first. Just like how I was killed first, everyone else will be killed first. Kill or be killed. Kill or be killed or be killed. Kill or be killed or kill or be killed. Okay. Human. I remember your sins. Your genocides. Kenneth-san, does that really not hurt? Oh, this? This is nothing. But what do you mean it's nothing? It really isn't a big deal. It doesn't even hurt anymore. It's really nothing. As Kenneth said that, he began to untie the bandages that had been painstakingly wrapped. The gruesome hole in his chest was immediately exposed. Kenneth-san, you mustn't do that. Lie down, quickly. He said it's fine. Hey, see? This is nothing, right? Kenneth showed off his gaping wound, which was still slowly spitting out foamy blood. Everyone averted their eyes reflexively. Look, I told you it wasn't a serious wound at all. Stop, you mustn't play with a wound. Come on, see? It isn't a deep wound at all. Look. Kenneth held up 2 fingers, showed them to everyone, and slowly started to stick them into the gruesome wound right in the center of his chest. Plunging, slimy, squishy, wet, itchy, tasty, the fingers went in deep all the way to their bases. Squish, gloop, gloop. Eek! Okay, got it, Sen. Stop it. Those fingers were sticking all the way into his chest, up to their bases. Then he slowly pulled them out in exactly the same way. The fingers he pulled out were stained a sticky, solid, deep red color, and there was even a thread hanging. The fingers were covered up to the bases in deep red. What in the world? See? It is not a serious wound at all, see? It is a zombie, see? Playing Cataclysm after. So, zombies on the mind. At that moment, the door was slammed open, and Shannon appeared. Even after she saw Cannon, stained with fresh blood, her impregnable expression didn't falter. Hey, Nason, where'd you go? I'm on the verge of death here, so where'd you go? It's like a overconfident cop. That's right, I went to the boiler room. There was something I had to find. More importantly, there's something I need to ask you. Are you really Cannon-kun? Huh? What? It was only natural. Everyone believed he was Cannon, so they couldn't understand the meaning of Shannon's question. When they looked, they noticed that Shannon was holding a handkerchief in her hand. It was filthy and looked like it had been used to wipe up some trash or dust. And while holding that, she approached Cannon, drawing closer to his feet. What is that? It's a handkerchief with a spider's web wiped onto it. Why would you bring something like that? If you're Cannon-kun, you should be fine. But if spiders are your natural enemy, I thought you might not like it. Are you kidding? Why would I hate spiders? Sorry, I'll try it. Shannon-san. When Shannon brought the handkerchief close to Cannon's thigh, something happened in an instant. It happened all at once. The human eye couldn't have followed it. Cannon jumped like a wild goat, fleeing from the thing Shannon was holding. Then, from his arm, some kind of afterglow flashed purple and drew a curve through space. That arc, which drew 3 beautiful purple curves, traced across the throats of Nanjo and Kubusawa, who had been tending to him. And, in an instant, Nanjo's and Kubusawa's throats opened like gaping mouths, and then the blood really started spewing out. The third purple curve should have traced across Shannon's throat. Shannon wasn't there, because Genji, who had been behind her, had wrapped his own arm around Shannon's neck and pulled her back. This all happened in an instant. In the instant it took Goda to think fast in an attempt to understand the scene, the frozen moment in time shattered. Blood was gushing from Nanjo and Kubusawa's torn open necks. Cannon jumped and kicked off a picture frame that had been hanging from the wall behind him, springing forward just like a cat and aiming for Shannon's throat again. But Shannon's target once again disappeared from in front of him, because Genji had pulled Shannon again, and the 2 of them had fallen to the ground in a defensive crouch. Nice reflexes, you senile furniture. Goda. Whoa. Even Goda was no fool. Even if he couldn't fully understand what was going on, he at least realized that if this cannon wasn't seized, his own life would also be in peril. He sprung at Cannon with his huge body, pushing him up against the wall with all his weight and physical strength. They're probably gonna die from that, considering the doctor was one of the people hit. Whoa, let go, fat ass. Another purple curve was drawn from the tips of the fingers on Cannon's right hand. And when he raised that hand like a sword, aiming for Goda's back, there was a loud thunk, because Cannon's raised hand had been pinned to the wall. He couldn't tear his palm away from the wall. Sticking out from it was the knife Genji had thrown. Genji's Sakura. Under normal circumstances, it would have been surprising to see someone as old as Genji handle a knife so skillfully, but in this abnormal space, no one paid it much mind. Genji-sama, take this. Indeed, Genji took the handkerchief with a spiderweb stuck to it from Shannon, and he approached Cannon, who was pinned to the wall by Goda's massive body of the knife. Stop it. Keep that away from me. Stop it. Stop. You. See, Kenna's just in a rock club like me. When Genji pushed the handkerchief up against Kennan's face, there was a sound just like setting meat on a red-hot iron plate. Of course, the smell was the same too. As he was horribly burned, festering in filthy red and black and crying out his death throes, Kenna's body burst open and scattered. It was almost as though a balloon filled with gold leaf had popped. The entire servant room was completely buried under a storm of gold leaf. No, a cloud of gold butterflies. You see, the joke is just because, Beatrice butterflies. Those butterflies began to softly fade, as though into water, or rather into the empty air itself, and afterwards all that was left was the 3 survivors sitting on their butts, stained with blood. However, not everyone was merely stained with blood. Some of them were lying on the ground, spurting out blood themselves. Musawa, Dr. Najo. So it's so sharp they looked like they'd cut your finger if you touched them open wide. Large amounts of blood kept pouring out. What was that just now? See if this updates the thing at all. Nope, not yet. Assume it doesn't mention the wounds or anything. Oh. We'll find out soon. Goda, have you been injured? I'm fine. But what did we just see? What happened? I know I pushed that thing against this wall with my own hand, but even I cannot understand what happened. Goda looked at his own hand. The bright red blood left from his scuffle with Kennen definitely remained. And yet, Kennen was nowhere to be seen, because he disappeared. Bold text is just emphasis. It's literally just like, what was that? It's just emphasis. That's all. Bold isn't a color, it's okay. Goda kept screaming alone without a clue about what was going on. Shannon sobbed in front of Nanjo's and Kumasawa's remains. As Genji watched over, silent as always. I was hoping this was going to be a Battler moment. I wanted to see what he had to say about this. Switch to the Japanese to see. Yeah, sure. That's actually a good idea. I can do that, sure. As soon as it gives me control again here. Switch to Japanese. Oh, has to do the transition again. Hold on a second. Alright, let's see here. Yep. There wasn't bold here, so it was just added for the localized version for emphasis. Oh no, wait. Oh no, sorry. Actually, it's here at the end. It gets moved to the end in Japanese. Well, rather, it gets moved to the end, to the start in English. It's just at a different point in the sentence. Unless there were 2 bolds. But there's only 1 in Japanese. Oh, I was looking at the wrong line. So in here, that was there. Let me see if the other one is still there too. I was looking at the wrong line. The first one was added by the translation. The second one was there though. It would have been here. Even the wall. So there you go. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're added. Which I think is perfectly fine. I like using bold whenever I can, but a lot of games don't really support it. I think I was able to use them in Shady Trial, which was really helpful though. They're nice when you have access to them because you can do a lot with them. You can really like help tone. It's nice. Dr. Najo and Kurosawa somewhere? What on earth are you talking about? Shannon. Thank goodness you're safe. If something had happened to you, George-sama. Ooh. George, could be quiet for a second. A murder occurred before your very eyes, right? Did you see the culprit? Or not? That is, how should I explain? Genji-san. Even we cannot adequately explain what happened in front of us. It certainly, happened right before our eyes. It was right in front of my eyes. However, it was, what was it? Even I don't understand. I can check that one too. In this case, there wasn't like anything here. So, another part where both got added. But that's fine. What are you saying? You couldn't have been anyone except the witch Beatrice, whose location has been unknown since yesterday. Oh, here they go. They finally added them now. Died in the servant room, his throat sliced open by a sharp blade or something similar. However, this alone isn't enough. The finishing touches are yet to come. Or Kanagain, who's gone missing. Was it a man or a woman? You should be able to tell me at least that much, right? Aunt Rosa, calm down a bit. Anyone would be confused if two people were taken out right in front of them. Goto-san, Genji-san, there's no need to rush. Tell us what happened, one thing at a time. As to that, how should I say it? Dr. Najo and Kubisawa-san had been killed. I understood that much. It seemed that it had occurred in front of these people's eyes. But even so, they spoke awkwardly. They admitted that they'd definitely seen the crime with their own eyes. Goto has to explain what they'd seen, their mouths suddenly went shut. I can understand why Aunt Rosa was irritated and flaring up. Shannon, did you see it? When Dr. Najo was attacked? Yes. Tell me, just what you understand. What in the world happened? Someone came to the back door. That's right. Someone came up to the back door. Then, wondering who it was, I opened the door. Someone at the back door. Who was it? Let them finish. And after that? That person was stained with blood and had a large wound. We carried that person to the servant room, and Dr. Najo immediately began first aid. It was a very deep wound. Like I said, who are you talking about? I don't know. Certainly, in the beginning, I thought that was the case. No, I still think that. But what in the world was that? I don't know. I don't know. In a manner that didn't match his large body, Goda held his head and scratched at it. I didn't have a clue if he was confused because he couldn't remember, or because he'd seen something terrifying and couldn't accept it. And Shannon looked the same way. If she let her guard down, what she'd seen just a short while ago would quickly melt away like a daydream. And she wouldn't be able to remember anything. That's what she looked like. Only Genji looked composed as usual, so the questions were naturally directed at him. However, even Genji took quite some time before he spoke, and he had to gather his thoughts. Genji-san, you saw it, right? Who came in through the back door? At first, we believed that person was Kanen. You see? It was alive after all. My theory was correct. By at first, you mean that your impression changed later, right? Yes. I cannot explain with words what happened after that. He killed Dr. Najo and Kubisawa, then disappeared. At that time, he was definitely not Kanen. Yes, that's right. It's just as Genji-san says. You really couldn't explain it with words. Do you have the same opinion? Yes. I can only say the same thing. If we give their claims the benefit of the doubt, it means that Aunt Rosa's first conclusion was correct. Kanen had appeared near the back door to the kitchen with a serious injury. Then he'd been taken to the servant room and cared for. And after that, something terrifying had happened. So were these people so convinced that Kanen couldn't possibly have done such a thing, that they started to suspect whether it had even been Kanen at all? In other words, that means Kanen did appear. No matter how confused they are, no matter how they muddle the words, that's what it means in the end. So does that mean that, after all, Kanen used some trick to escape that room even though it was locked? No, that doesn't matter anymore. The real problem is that Dr. Najo and Kubisawa-san were killed. Aunt Rosa has claimed that Kanen was behind this from the very beginning. No matter how confused these people are, no matter how much they try to deny it, halfway confirming that she was right. But even so, for some reason, I felt like their awkwardness couldn't be explained by confusion alone. Clearly, Aunt Rosa's wolves and sheep thing doesn't matter in the least. If there were like 5 people there, Kanen managed to kill 2 of them. So like, she's thinking too literally about it, you know? Variables can come up, variables can happen for sure. What did they see? Like they said, did they really see something that couldn't be explained with words? Okay, let me get water, coffee, use the bathroom, and I'll be back. Just a few. Ooh. There's something I wanted to set up real quick. So, let's see here. I wanted to, since it seems like reasonably like Safdie would probably cheat her way through this pretty easily. Since there doesn't seem to be a list of red truths in game, I want to make one real quick here. Let's see here. I'll put this right here. Text. Let me see here. Actually, on the text here. Good to go. Give me a second here to try to sort this. Why did that just get added? Why does it get added at the top? And I like explicitly say I don't want to add it there. Annoying. I can put it here. That is huge and looks terrible. Font size. Not that big. That's maybe a bit more reasonable, maybe a bit too small though. Let's go with like 72. What's a good font here? Hold on. Not that one, that's tiny. I don't know fonts very well. Comic Sans. Old classic. Alright. Comic Sans. So, these are the ones from before. We have a few more, so hold on. Let me just get the rest of these so we have all of them for reference. OBS, no, stop that. This will be a bit messy, unfortunately, because there's some parts that like aren't supposed to be in red at the end, like used by Valor, quoting Beatrice and that kind of thing. I think it would be nice to have as a reference for if anyone needs to see this at any point. And I can also like go backwards to it. So this way, whenever people are curious, we can just bring it up. And additionally, we can add them as we go, basically, as well. For now, I just have them all for Wiki because it'd be too long to like type them all up by hand right now. But as new ones come up, I'll add them. So, those are our current red truths. We can refer back to those anytime we need to. Next time we have a deduction thing, perhaps. Aunt Rosa, who decided that further talk wouldn't get us anywhere, concluded her questioning and said she wanted to check the two bodies. That was something I'd been wanting to do too. The witnesses had been unable to figure anything out, but they'd been shaken. Sorry, clear my throat again. If those of us who hadn't been at the scene calmly looked at the corpses, we might find something. But it was a little surprising to learn that Aunt Rosa was also concerned about the bodies. Even at this point, I still wanted to use any clues I could find to expose the culprit and the truth myself. But it should have been different in Aunt Rosa's case. Isn't Aunt Rosa prioritized staying safe over finding the culprit? I couldn't really see why she would go to all the trouble of leaving our barricade in the parlor just because she wanted to check the bodies. We will all go to the servant room together. If we all move together, it'll be safe. Maria, stop playing with scribbles. Ooh, not scribbles. I'm solving Beatrice's puzzle. Ooh. Beatrice's puzzle? What's that? Show me too. Aunt Rosa, are you, bringing Maria-chan too? It seemed that Georgianiki was against the idea of bringing Maria to the bloody crime scene. But considering that Maria would be left all alone, if left here, it'd surely be much safer to take Maria with us. In the end, it was just Aniki's irresponsible humanism. We decided that all of us, including Maria, would go to the servant room. I'm sure it'll be just fine. She's seen worse. The bed in the servant room was stained with bright red blood. No, not just the bed. The whole room was covered with a gruesome paint from countless bloodstains. That dreadful scene alone was enough to give us an idea of the repulsive sight that I'd been trying to describe. Ooh, I want to look too. Maria-chan, wait here with me. Jojanaki was standing by the entrance, covering Maria's eyes with his back to the room. You probably didn't want the dirty and innocent girl's retinas with the repulsive blood in this room. That was surely the correct decision. I was acting tough right now, so I didn't mind. But for the rest of my life, whenever I see red paint skirted around, I'll probably remember this room and start to vomit. My retinas have already had this room burned into them. In other words, it's already too late for me. Huh? What did they... Right after they entered the servant room, Goto-san and Shanin-chan trembled. We shook, wondering what horrible new situation had arisen to make them tremble again. What happened? What is it? Aunt Rosa also shuddered, raised her gun high, and searched for whatever it was that had made them shudder. But she couldn't find it. It was only natural. They were trembling because they couldn't find it. Hey, what in the world's going on? The two bodies aren't here. What does this mean? A cat in my face. That can't be. Those two are definitely here. Wait. What the hell? Are you saying the corpses just walked off somewhere? That couldn't happen, right? I mean, wasn't the servant room locked? Did anyone lock the door when you came in just now, Goto-san? What does that mean? Isn't this the same as Jessica's room? Someone's disappeared from inside a closed room again? That's ridiculous. I don't have a clue what happened either. When we left this room, we definitely locked it. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. Is Rose with a shotgun playable in the fighting game? I'm pretty sure she is. I'm almost certain she is. Yes, she absolutely is. Let's see. Just trying to like get some good pictures or something here. This is probably a good one. Here you go. She's reloading her gun there. That's a lot of pictures. Got some nice anti-air options here. Oh my god, look at this. Hold on. She apparently goes pretty hard in Golden Fantasia. Check this out. Wow. What else we got here? Keep in mind that characters have like super moves in this game too. If I put this one in, it'll be spoilers, but I'm gonna link this one specifically to Real and DMs because this is something he's been wanting to see. But I'm not gonna put it up here because it references something that we haven't seen yet. But yeah, the fighting game I guess is pretty crazy. I might play it. I might stream it after done. I do own it. I just haven't really played much of it before. I'm not really good at fighting games. But it's nice to see like some characters get animated, for sure. I want to say it has voice lines too, but I'm not sure on that. It's been a long time. Two corpses disappeared, and furthermore, they disappeared where the door was locked. Even if Kennen-kun was the culprit, he shouldn't have a master key anymore. That's wrong. Kennen-kun isn't the culprit. You know, actually, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna get a list of characters that we've seen so far that are in it. There's characters you don't know yet that are also in it, so I'm not going to mention those. But let's go over the ones that we do know. There are a total of 19 characters. Battler, Beatrice. Let's see. Lucifer, who's one of Beatrice's stakes. I don't know if we've specifically seen her. Shannon, Ganon, Jessica, George, Rosa, and all of the other characters are characters you haven't seen yet. So over half of these characters are characters you have not met yet, which should really like have you thinking like, how are we going to introduce that many characters on like an island during a typhoon? Where the hell are they going to come from? Well, wait and see. Umineko is a very goofy story. Shannon. I believe Shannon. All the female characters. No. There are some that aren't in it. Just looking at this list here. Let's see. You can't play as Maria. You can't play as Natsuhi. There you go. There's 2 female characters that aren't in it. And I know of some more also that aren't in it that have not gotten introduced. Umineko has the cast of like 3 Danganronpa games, unironically. It is big. This must be the doing of someone who looks a lot like him. No, Ken could have gotten a master key. After all, his master key was found in the pocket of Jessica Chan's corpse. And who took that key? Well, yeah, she's just not playable. That's what I'm saying, Will. That's right. It was Dr. Najo. That's right. Back then, it definitely was Dr. Najo who searched through Jessica's clothes and found the master key. So, if someone had the opportunity to search Dr. Najo's corpse, it would have been easy for them to take the master key back. Rosa searched under the bed and in the locker. By now, I also understood what that meant. If you assume there are 2 culprits, this can easily be explained. The first person was Kanekun, or maybe an imposter who looked like him. He finished off Dr. Najo and ran off somewhere. The second person was probably not a 19th person, Beatrice, whose location was unknown. That person hid under the bed in the servant room beforehand, and while Dr. Najo's body was enshrined here... You sure want to say enshrined? They waited for Genji-san and the rest to leave. Then later, they crawled out, took the master key back from Dr. Najo's pocket, and carried the 2 corpses away for some reason. If they then locked the door with the master key, you'd end up with this closed room. Here we go. You constructed that one pretty fast, basing off your reasoning from Jessica's room. With that method, you could create a closed room even without magic. Should I give you passing marks? However, interestingly enough, there's one thing you mustn't forget. If the culprit took back the master key as you suggest, they must have known that Najo took the master key from Jessica's body. You don't have to tell me that. You're probably trying to say that it's information only the people in that place, at that time, could know. Ah, this third closed room was crushed so fast that you're stuck trying to make hurtful remarks like that. There's no art in repeating the same content over and over. I may have managed a bluff, but that move with the witches hurts bad. I can tell that I'm cracking under the thing I want to deny the most. This person's trying to close in on me from 2 directions. On the one hand, there's the frontal attack, where she tries to force me to believe there's a witch using closed room tricks that only a witch could do. And on the other hand, there's the rear attack, where she tries to lure me into wanting a witch to exist, by strengthening my suspicions of those close to me. In the first closed room, the chapel, she used the frontal attack, but it didn't work on me. So with the second closed room, and now in the third closed room, she's definitely changing the direction of her attack. However, the fact that she is changing the direction of her attack proves that my resistance is having some effect. And she must have given up on the frontal attack because she clearly can't win with it. I tried to settle my unease by thinking these things, but apparently the witch had seen through me long ago. I will not abandon my frontal attack. A rear attack only has meaning because it advances at the same time as the front. If I were to degenerate into only using the rear attack, it would merely result in a foolish plan where my means have become my goal. Really? Well then, won't you repeat, someone was hiding in the serpent room using that red you're so proud of? There is no need. The premise of your theory is about to be destroyed. Oh really? You refuse? So someone really is hiding. Rosa will destroy your premise right now. Come, let's listen in. Essentially, they're just like watching an anime together, a mystery anime, and every few minutes they pause and they talk about what just happened, and they argue about who they think the culprit is. But please believe us, Rosa-sama, the 2 corpses were definitely lying here. The bright red blood on the floor is theirs. Aunt Rosa began to search through various objects around the room, her back to Goto-san as he cried out in supplication. Eventually, she found something, and for a while, stopped moving. Rosa-sama, we definitely aren't lying. The 2 corpses were definitely here. Be quiet. The person who hid the corpses has confessed that they took them to another place. With this. There's a show them a single sheet of paper over her shoulder. What on earth is that? Could it be a letter in a sealed envelope? Just like in the chapel? Yes, that's right. I pulled it out of my pocket. It was set here, out in the open. I'll read it. Because I wrote it. Members of the Yoshino family and its household. Have you now reached the climax of the Riddle of the Gold's epitaph? There's only one way you can all stop me, by solving the epitaph's riddle. There are no other options left to you that will result in the suspension of my ceremony. I humbly ask that you take care not to misunderstand your current situation. Searching for me will prove useless. Attempting to escape will prove useless. Trying to deny me will prove useless. Beatrice the Golden. P.S. Ha 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 ha. I borrowed those 2 corpses for my ceremony. They will be returned to you in due time, so I crave your indulgence. Also, these keys belong to you, so I return them to you now. As Rosa read it aloud, the contents of the envelope lay exposed on the palm of her hand. There were 2 master keys. The master key that Nanjo had found in Jessica's pocket, which had originally been Kanan's, and Kumasawa's master key. What the hell? What does that mean? Debu, again? You're saying I can only suspect the servants with keys again? I won't say it in red, okay? I won't deny the possibility that after they locked the door and left, someone was hiding in this room, okay? If they hid under the bed, it still would have been possible for them to carry the corpses somewhere. But they wouldn't have been able to lock the door. The master key they went to all that trouble to get was left right here. That's right, I'd forgotten. What about the keys specifically for this room? The servant room keys. What does in the food bomb mean in context of episode 4? Small bombs is... well, let's just say that later on, we're going to go back over the murders that have already happened. And tiny bombs placed into food are going to be given by Battler as a possibility. And Beatrice can't refute it, because it's just so ridiculous. Indeed, those are kept in the key box in the center of the server room. Let's add this to the red truth. Can you not right now, Avery? Please, stop. It's kind of annoying keeping jump these, actually, maybe. I'll have to paraphrase these a little bit, I suppose. But that's fine. The servant room keys are kept in the key box in the center of the server room. There are several servant room keys, but all of those are inside the key box. All of them are inside the key box, so none of them have been used. That from the game is something I made myself. It's something I made because there is no list in game for whatever dumb reason. Really nice if there were. Yeah, I'm typing it. Which means the situation is exactly the same as Jessica's room. It's not like the servants would walk around with an unnecessary key when they have those convenient master keys. I can accept that they're all kept in the key box. And the other conditions remain unchanged as well. Entry and exit are impossible except for the single door and the single window. Look. Look, you are making this really inconvenient. I adore you, don't get me wrong. But you're a little goblin. You got eye boogies again. Every time you get eye boogies. Clean yourself up. Okay. Wrong place. OBS sucks at doing this. I should have really just had it like hook up to a TXT file. I've done that before. Green exit are impossible except for a single door and a single window. Actually, I could literally just do that right now. Yeah, hold on. Red text.txt. Just added this. Oh, I don't have to use OBS's shitty text editor thing. There we go. That's so much easier. It's hard to read, isn't it? There. That's maybe good, I guess. Go with that, I suppose. Okay. For anyone who wants to keep track of these, this is your reference. And you can look back to these to help figure things out, maybe. Therefore, hidden doors and regular methods of entry cannot exist. Rejoice, great detectives. Hee hee hee. And those were both locked. Added. Up. The door and the window do not permit any kind of entry or exit when they are locked. He's basically just like avoiding things he might try to say, like bullshit about door tricks, essentially. So it worked to remove the door and make a crack to slide in through or anything like that while the lock is still set. And obviously, it is impossible to lock the door with a servant key, room key, or the master key. Or without a servant, room key, or master key. There you go. Added. It's a pain having to read all these aloud every time. Sooner or later, I should think of a way to put all this together and abbreviate it. But you can't repeat that someone was hiding in this room. However, that alone won't break open the door of a closed room. Ah, damn it. It's useless, it's all useless. Hehehe. What happened to that spinning the chessboard around thing that you're so proud of? Please, announce your boastful, strange theory. Spin the chessboard around. What would I do if I were the culprit? I'd carry the corpses off somewhere. I'll leave a letter. Lock the door from the inside. Then I just have to escape this room by some means. Damn it, is that even possible? I was told and read that you can't get outside except through the door or the window. Ah, at that moment, I got it. That's right. The culprit carried away the corpses, left the letter, and since they didn't use a hidden door, they weren't able to escape. That's it. This isn't a question, it's an answer. Beato, before I ask you to repeat anything, I want to check the definition of hidden doors that you're using. What have you thought of? Very well, I'll explain. Beato is a nickname that she says he should use. They're already on nickname terms. They already love each other that much. A hidden door refers to an entrance or exit that cannot be recognized as such by those who don't know it beforehand, of course. Even children know that. I also ship them. So in other words, if you can't get outside the room with it, it isn't a hidden door. Oh, so that's your game. I kept thinking there needed to be some way for the culprit to escape in the closed room. Here's a good one coming up. I like this. That's wrong. The culprit couldn't escape, so they decided to hide until we all left. During the second closed room, I tried applying this theory to Kanen-kun, but after hearing Kanen-kun was killed in red, I gave it up. After that, I proposed that a third person might have been in the room, or escaping through a hidden door. And then, for the first time, I was faced with a red claim that no hidden doors exist. Now move from there to what I've just learned. That term, hidden door, refers to things that make it possible to enter or leave a room. In other words, that category doesn't cover things that don't actually lead in or out of the room, even if these things could never be recognized by people who didn't know about them beforehand. So if we had something like a hidden shelf or a secret closet, for example, that wouldn't count as a hidden door. That means the third person from Jessica's room is hiding here, waiting for us to leave. Yeah, how pathetic. It was all just a bit of wordplay. Looks like that technique should be enough to handle even this third closed room. If there's a hidden shelf under the bed or anything like that, that'd be enough. The culprit's hiding somewhere waiting for us to leave. The culprit is also trapped in this closed room even now, which means, at this very moment, the culprit is still hiding in the servant room, holding their breath. That means, what the hell? Even though we've been tortured by closed rooms 3 times, this very moment, we've actually gotten the culprit in checkmate. Finally starting to see it. Eat this, Beato. Repeat it. There is no one in this room other than us. By us, I mean me, Georgianaki, Maria, Aunt Rosa, Genji-san, Goto-san, and Shana-chan. Got it? What do you think? You can't say it, right? Oh. Oh. I'll bet that hit you where it hurts. If you refuse, then say it, damn it. Here comes the next one. Repeat it. I don't know how they're hiding in this room. If they are, then this solves the second closed room, Jessica's room, at the same time. I finally caught her by the tail. For this, I can explain everything. Witches don't exist, and I don't have to suspect anyone. Alright, starting now, I'll spin it all around. Now I'll have her repeat that. No one exists in this room except your group. Your group refers to Battler, George, Maria, Rosa, Genji, Goto, and Shannon. What? Let's go back to Jessica's room. Oh, I need to add that. room except your group. Your group refers to creatures, by the way. Refers to Battler, George, Maria, Rosa, Genji, Yoda, Shannon. Added. We got one more. Hold on. Just getting through this whole line first. Let's go back to Jessica's room. When Jessica's corpse was discovered, only Bauer, George, Maria, Rosa, Genji, Goda, Shannon, Kubasawa, and Nanjo were in Jessica's room. Whoops, the corpse of Jessica is also included. Therefore, both in the case including Jessica's room and the one involving the servant room, no humans exist that you were not aware of, and no one is hiding. I'm copying this from the wiki. That's gonna take me way too long. Doesn't even fit on the screen anymore. Oh, it's not smart enough to like... Hold on, I fixed this so it actually wraps. BS sucks. Why do I even use this thing? Okay, do this. I want to make the text bigger so people can actually see it. Like these things. I'm trying to go bigger, but without going so big that it doesn't fit on the screen anymore. Is that any bigger at all? That doesn't look any bigger at all. Maybe if I want to make it legible, I shouldn't use Comic Sans. There. I was hoping this would be a lot more concise and pretty looking, but no. At least in episode 2, there's a lot of like really wordy red text. No one is hiding. And I'll say more. No method exists by which the door can be locked from the outside without using a key. Regarding the window, no method exists by which it could somehow be locked from the outside. It exists by which the door can be locked from the outside without using a key. Regarding the window, no method exists by which it could be locked from the outside. I missed an entire word. Okay, that has been added. Let me also say this. God damn it, Beatrice. You were incompetent. Oh, she did it. She did it. If small bombs are a meme, you were incompetent is also a big meme. All right. All right. It's a really important one to remember. Make sure, keep that one in mind. The dumbass. So it's really a closed room, isn't it? And just when I'd finally managed to think of a way out, if you were hiding, that would fit everything. Just when I thought I'd broken through to your trick. Damn it. Yeah. It's useless, it's useless, it's useless, it's all useless. For a second, I thought I had it. It was all useless. Damn it. I was so sure that I'd finally seen through her, that I'd seen how she distracted me with her clever red wordplay and fooled me. Just when I thought I'd found a light in the darkness, it disappeared. Just disappeared, swallowed up by a blood-red sea. Red. Red, 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 red. No one is hiding, and there's no hidden door, and no way to get past the door or the window while they're locked. Have you just proven that it's all impossible? Is the devil's proof been fulfilled with a frontal attack? Impossible. That's impossible. What's wrong, Ushimura Battler? Weren't you so confident in your ability to deny witches? Why are you groveling and wringing out bitter tears in a place like that? Yes, what a truly splendid tactic. Truly splendid how you're trying to make me fall over and drown in a sea of tears from my own laughter. That is what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to make me laugh and laugh and laugh myself to death, right? Ushimura Battler. Allie. Yes, cat. Go on. Move my camera every time. Sorry, I forgot I still have the camera pointing at my lap. Good enough. What are you calling magic? I'll definitely prove that witches don't exist. I definitely won't believe in you. Use the power of magic, and bullied and killed everyone for fun? I definitely won't accept that. Hey, Batley. Sorry for bullying you so much. I'll spin the chessboard around, on my side. I'll stand in your place and show you the best possible move you could make. Wanna hear? Don't screw with me. I don't wanna hear. I don't wanna hear. Consider Jessica's room. You were off to a good start, you know that. All that about hiding and waiting for everyone else to leave. That truly was well spotted. But why did you only think of Kennedy and me, the 19th person? I see, so the hide part of hiding and waiting got in the way, which prevented you from getting any further. Come on, you see what I'm getting at, don't you? It's Jessica. Jessica! If Jessica were the culprit, a farce like this could easily be constructed. She killed Cannon Could and carried him off somewhere. Then she played dead and let us walk by. But that's ridiculous. Dr. Nanjo definitely confirmed that she was dead. So was Dr. Nanjo an accomplice too? That's wrong. I also confirmed that Jessica was dead. Of course, I've never examined a corpse before, but she was definitely dead. I think she was dead. No, that's probably surely definitely what I thought, but certainly wait. She was dead. She was dead. Jessica was in on it. And Nanjo, who examined her corpse, was in on it too. And that makes the third closed room a farce, doesn't it? Yeah, that it's simple. Dr. Nanjo was in on it. So in other words, he's on the culprit's side, which means he was never dead in the first place. I thought his body disappeared after he was killed, but what if he was never in the servant room to begin with? So if Kumasawa Bachan disappeared with him, does that mean she's in on it too? That's not all, that's not all. The servants who all agreed to keep to that story, Genji-san and Goto-san and even Shannon-chan were also in on it. Then the one who stole the key from Maria's handbag was Jessica. No, it could have even been Georgianiki. After all, if Shannon-chan is on the culprit's side, that automatically makes Georgianiki on the culprit's side. Wait a second, just wait a second, they're all wolves. They're all wolves. Not only am I drowning in an ocean of bright red blood, there are packs of wolves clamoring on the banks, whose blazing eyes tell me that they'll eat me if I crawl out. Which way should I die? Should I deny everything and drown in a bright red sea? Or should I learn the truth and have my whole body chewed to bits by the wolves? It's either one hell or the other. I can't choose. Yeah. Battler's having a real hard time. That's why I'm here. Come, Ushimi Battler, and kneel. Swear you're... How do you make that red truth? If you accept me... Oh, I'll read this in a sec. That's why I'm here. Come, Ushimi Battler, and kneel. Swear your eternal loyalty and lick my shoes. If you accept me, all the riddles will be resolved. With my power, any kind of closed room can be created or destroyed. Just gonna paste this in here. There's more coming up too, apparently, according to the wiki. Battler, don't you want to abandon yourself to the joy of surrendering to one with power? I'll make you my favorite furniture. I'll love you so much and make you my toy until you turn to ashes. I don't know, I might make all this. After. There, finally. I can actually read more for a bit. Some impressive animation work here. It's the inspiration for the three Patchy sisters right there. Now it's clear. There's no longer any reason to doubt. Huh? But what are you saying? You kept saying those two are dead, but they aren't here. And now, we have this letter from Beatrice, where she's been kind enough to confess that she carried the corpses off. It's as simple as that. I've had enough of this farce. As Aunt Rosa yelled this, she looked at all of us with a fierce expression. What do you mean by farce? I said it in Jessica-chan's room. You can't trust anyone but yourself and those whose corpses have been found. And since we can't find the corpses of those two people, we must not accept that they've been killed. But please wait, Aunt Rosa. What do you mean by that? Dr. Nanjo and Kurosawa-san aren't dead. They're alive. We're supposed to believe that they've been killed. But they're definitely hiding somewhere in this mansion. So that they can attack us. How could you know that? Are you saying that Goto-san and the rest are lying? Rosa-sama. Goto. No, all the Ushimida's family servants. They all swear that nothing of that sort happened. They all say that those two were killed. But since there are no corpses, we mustn't believe you. There's a chance that you worked out a story beforehand, that you're lying. There's a good way to prove your innocence, isn't there? Find Dr. Nanjo's and Kurosawa-san's bodies. If you can find them, then maybe I'll start listening to your story. And until you do, you cannot deny that you are all wolves. You, and you. I bet you were all bought by that witch, that you guys were blinded by gold. Do you really want money that much? That's right, isn't it? You want to live the easy life for as long as you live? What value could a life like that possibly have? Rosa-sama, we couldn't have. Be silent. And Shannon, don't get any closer. I think you'd repay a 10-year-long debt of gratitude with betrayal. I'll pull the trigger without mercy. How could you? It's too cruel. Aunt Rosa, that's horrible. A murder occurred in this room. Then the culprit carried the corpses away. All they're doing is honestly reporting what they saw. Ah. Shana had finally broken down in tears. She had sacrificed 10 years to the Ushimura family. She sacrificed 10 of the most brilliant years of her life. She believed that she built a friendly relationship with Rosa. And this was what she got in return. You can kill a person without using a knife. It didn't have to be George Aniki. To realize that Shana-chan had been stabbed deep in the heart, that she was shedding tears like blood. Shana-chan, stay back. Rosa-sama. It is true that I, Goda, have not served for many years, and I understand that I may have not earned your trust. However, could you not believe in Shana-san at least? She sacrificed a full 10 years in service to the Ushimura family. I'm not telling you to believe me. At the very least, can't you believe in Shana-san? But even I don't understand anymore. I don't understand. We can't search for an answer without suspecting them. Yeah, bit by bit, I'm starting to understand. It's because we've been searching for an answer. That's why everything keeps going wrong. We don't need an answer. These are all strange murders, committed with bizarre magic for the 19th person, who was Beatrice, in accordance with some creepy ceremony. Isn't that enough? I don't want to suspect anyone anymore. Shana-chan and Goto-san were protesting their innocence, half crying. Genji-san quietly put a stop to that. Enough. What Rosa-sama says is quite sensible. Until we find the corpses, we cannot prove Dr. Najo and Kurosawa's innocence. That's right. By Rosa-sama's argument, if their corpses can be found, then the innocence of those people alone can be proven. But that only counted for the corpses. Even if the survivors searched the mansion and found the corpses, in the end, their own innocence would never be proven. They kidnapped Dr. Najo and Kurosawa-san, killed them in another place, and locked the closed room with their own master keys. Unless the closed room could be broken by a method other than that one, it would be impossible to prove their innocence. But that couldn't be done. They only have one chance to prove their innocence. That can only happen if they meet with the culprit, become corpses, and are then reunited with Aunt Rosa. Isn't that strange? They're innocent if they die, but guilty as long as they're alive, just like a witch trial. Oh right, the enemy's a witch. So everything's cool. Is that it? I love the way he talks. One sec. Catch up. Sent us into text. Rosa-sama, we are furniture in service to the Ushimura family. Whether you trust us or not is no business of ours. No matter what assessment you give us, we will merely continue to serve until our final hour. You really are a model servant. I deeply understand why Father trusts you. It really is heart-rending that I must suspect even you. Genji-san stuck his hand into his pocket and pulled out a master key. Then he set it on a nearby table. This is very reminiscent of the first episode. I believe I was given this as a sign of the trust placed in me. If that trust has been lost, I think it only natural that I return it. Ouch. Way to make her feel like shit. That's a good decision. Those master keys are the main reason you've been suspected several times today. It may seem elementary that letting go of these might clear away that suspicion, but I don't think it's a bad thing. You too. Genji-san looked at Goto-san and Shana-chan. The two of them nodded and set their own master keys on the table. Aunt Rosa laid the two master keys that had come out of the envelope on top. All of them are in one place. With that, all 5 master keys were gathered in this place. In other words, this was proof that all the servants' service until today had been negated, with even the final honor they should have been permitted stripped from them. Maria, give me that handbag. Ooh, give it back. Aunt Rosa snatched Maria's handbag, tossed the master keys in there, and held up one of them for all to see. She was showing us that she now had all the master keys. Are you satisfied now, Aunt Rosa? Now you have all the master keys. Doesn't that satisfy you? Yes, I'm satisfied. Even if I can't trust anyone else, I can at least trust myself. I've been able to get the gun and all the master keys for myself. Now I don't have to suspect anyone. You all are happy too, I take it? Now you don't have to be suspected anymore. Bam. No. Hehehe. At that time, Maria, who alone seemed to be watching this as though it were a show, sneered at her mother. Aunt Rosa reacted nervously to that laugh and turned around. Keys don't have anything to do with this. Beatrice can open doors with magic. She doesn't need keys. It doesn't matter who has or doesn't have something like that. Hehehe. Don't I always tell you to stop laughing like that? What is it, Balorgun? I just cut in between the two of them. No, that's not it. I was on my knees and hugging Maria's head. I was crying. Just stop it already, Aunt Rosa. Maria was right. What are you talking about? Maria, I'm sorry for doubting. I'm sorry for not believing. Battler, it was all the witch's doing. The witch's doing. All that stuff about tricks and closed rooms didn't matter. It's just that the witch Beatrice actually exists, and she's really a witch. And because I didn't believe, it's been so painful and so sad. You believe in Beatrice? Yes, I believe. Beatrice exists, and she's a witch who uses strange magic. Battler. Maria let go of my hand, and then she was the one holding my head. That's enough, Battler. Beatrice existed. You had so much trouble believing, so you couldn't see her. Witches exist. They exist, and will come soon. You believed in Beato, so you will surely be invited to the Golden Land. Very soon now. It will happen very soon, so there's nothing to be afraid of anymore. There's no need to be afraid, okay? Stay with me, hands joined, okay? Let's think about the riddle of the epitaph together. Let's think about Beato's puzzle. Beato's been saying it from the beginning. She hasn't said anything other than, let's play and solve this puzzle. Right, she did. Searching for the culprit was just a waste of time. If only we'd just believed in the witch. After gently brushing my cheek as the tears kept dripping down, Maria kissed my forehead as softly as a feather. Just that instant, Maria's smile, which had once seemed creepy to me, looked like that of an angel. Poor Ballad. Now, without getting too much into the nature of Umineko, just because the battler we're seeing here submits doesn't mean that the battler that we're seeing argue with Beatrice in what we call the meta layer, the meta world, is also submitted. It doesn't mean that. So, it doesn't really matter. All it means is that Meta Battler is watching himself act like a total fool and dumbass right now. And he's probably getting really annoyed. We return the master keys, but our loyalty to the Ushimura family will not change. From now on, we will not enter the parlor without permission. Rosa-sama, please lock the parlor from the inside. You truly are an admirable person. When the typhoon passes, if the cries of the seagull return to this island again, I wonder if we'll be able to trust each other once more. If you were to grant us your trust once again, there could be no greater pleasure. I see. We'll definitely be able to understand each other. When the seagulls cry, yes, Umineko no Naku Koro ni. It would probably be best if we left this room as it is until the police come. Rosa-sama, if you would please lock it. We will return to the kitchen. So far, that's 2 episodes in a row where they've said it. I wonder if we can get like a full bingo. If you need anything, please command us at any time. Thank you. If you are a wolf, how shamelessly you speak. And if you are a sheep, then I'm sorry for throwing you into the cage of wolves. Furnish your entrusted fate to the family. If I could regain your trust by giving up this life of mine, I would consider it a great honor. I hope you all manage to remain safe until the typhoon passes, if such a thing is possible. This is all a rhapsody of blowing winds and pouring rain performed by the typhoon. A third time, cat? Go ahead. When the performance ends and the curtain closes, we will surely be able to grasp hands together again. Umineko no Naku Koro ni. Aunt Rosa nodded in response. If we don't see it in the 3rd episode, we have a spare that we can use. We can bring that one over, carry it over, leftovers. Genji-san turned on his heels. He left the servant room. Goto-san's face was still streaked with tears, but maybe he'd managed to sort out his feelings as he listened to Genji-san's words. His face had been truly shameful, but it had returned to the face of the Goto-san we knew well. I will also be waiting in the kitchen. If you need anything, please command me at any time. If you wish for some warm food, I, Goto, will have the very best prepared for you. Thank you. I can't wait for your breakfast tomorrow. and the boat will probably come by midday tomorrow. Thanks for everything up until now. Your cooking was my only pleasure on Arkenjima. Certainly. I, Goda, will prepare a supreme breakfast. Please, look forward to tomorrow morning. Thank you. And Shana-chan, tomorrow morning, let's make up and have some delicious coffee. George-kun? I'm going with them. It's alright, George-sama. Please, return to the parlor. There are no more master keys. So if you're with Rosa-sama in the parlor, you won't be threatened by anyone. You're right. That's how things sort of themselves out, isn't it? Objectively speaking, I'd say you'll be safest staying with me in the parlor. But I won't force you to stay with us. George-kun, you may stay in any place you feel is safe. You're already an adult. It's up to you where and with whom you spend the time with until tomorrow morning. Yes, I will decide with whom I'll spend this night. Aniki. Valor-kun, stay with Aunt Rosa in the parlor. I'm sure you'll be safest there. Ever outside the parlor is dangerous in comparison, so I can't leave her in a place like that alone. It's not like I suspect Shana-chan and the other servants, or anyone at all. I don't want to suspect anyone. The inheritance? The gold? That's all nothing. There's no way people are killing each other over things like that. Yes, I know better than anyone how pure your heart is, Valor-kun. No one will blame you. No one. Aki. It's alright. I'll protect you, Valor. If you're with me, even Beatrice won't be able to lay a hand on you. I may be small, but I'm still a witch. Yes. Maria-chan, I'm leaving Valor in your care. Alright, Shannon. Let's go. Yes. Rosa-sama, if you would excuse me. If you have an order, please call me at any time. I'm sorry for saying something so cruel just now. I don't expect you to forgive me until tomorrow morning, but when tomorrow morning comes, let me apologize again. Yes. Thank you very much. Janaki and Shan-chan left the servant room together. Now, only Maria, Aunt Rosa, and I were left in this disgusting blood-stained room. Until Genji-san disappeared, until Goda-san disappeared, until George, Aniki, and Shan-chan disappeared, we stood there, shocked. After their presence and their footsteps had completely disappeared, Aunt Rosa giggled as though she just remembered something pleasant. You can't trust them for a moment. That damned furniture. That one sentence made me choke. But why are you saying something like that? Aunt Rosa, bitch. There are 5 master keys in all. Who would believe that? It's obvious that some duplicate keys exist. As if we could trust them just because they pulled keys out of their pockets. You don't mean that, right? But by setting down those keys, they weren't just letting go of them. You made all their hard work count for nothing. Disgraced it, trampled it. And at the end, you made them give up their keys. What's with that parting line? They've shown that they're willing to go this far, and you still can't trust them? Too much, that's just too much. It's a devil's proof. There are 5 master keys in all. It's impossible to prove something like that. You can show that there are 5 master keys by placing them here, but you can't prove that no more than 5 exist. Only a demon or a witch could prove something like that, right? Wow. Stop it already, stop it already. Please, Beatrice, show yourself right now. And tell Rosa and Red that there are only 5 master keys. Please, I'm begging you. This can only be proved by devils, by a witch like you. Please, Beato, show yourself right here. And tell Rosa that those are all the master keys. And that there's no need to suspect anyone anymore. There are only 5 master keys. There are only 5 master keys. How's that? There it is. No matter how often I say it, it won't reach Rosa's ears. After all, it seems there's still someone who denies that I exist, right? Wish you need a battler? I accept it. I accept it. You exist. You exist. You definitely exist. So I'm begging you, stop this already. Stop it already. Stop it already. Ah. Words alone are not enough. Show it with your actions. Swear from the heart that you will become my furniture. Can you do it? Take off your clothes, be naked, then put your hands on the ground and crawl. Clothing is proof of one's humanity. From now on, you will become furniture, so it's only natural that you will lose that right. Then kneel, make your tongue crawl in my shoes. Can you do it? You can do it, right? When you do, I'll appear and say it in red. I'll tell Rosa that there are only 5 master keys. There, I've added a 3rd instance to the line. Oh, but of course, you'll never abandon that lordly pride of yours. But you've done well. You've done more than enough. You're starting to get that tingly feeling, aren't you? For just an instant, you thought maybe licking my shoes wouldn't be so bad, didn't you? And you immediately denied that and felt ashamed, right? Just looking at your expression feels just heavenly. That face of yours is so pathetic, so go look in a mirror. You'll see how low you are, naked and licking my shoes, right? You were incompetent. Can you see it, Ushimo the Battler? Oh my god, Beatrice, my beloved. I wish I could get a replay of that. That's so great. That one might fall off a little bit right here. He'll regain his honor somewhat later on. It's gonna go back and forth. There's still an entire 6 episodes left after this. Shinjirarai. I cannot believe it. I think that's a good place to stop Umineko for the day. I don't think we could even attempt to end on anything higher than that, right? So,